in addition to officially postponing the YNW Melly retrial once more. The judge this time disclosed startling information on Melly's potential release on bond. The news follows the announcement of yet another postponement of his double murder retrial. In order to evaluate an application submitted by the state attorney's office, the 4th District Court of Appeals granted a delay in the case during a hearing on Friday, August 8th. The trial, which was originally scheduled to start in September, will now start in January 2027 as a result of this decision. The catch is that a few weeks ago, the judge made a surprising statement in court that has the potential to completely alter the situation.
Disputing that.
So I don't know what else I can do at this point. You've asked me to press pause on all these motions. I'll press pause. I'm not going to move this trial date. This trial is going forward in September. So if these motions are heard next month, or they're heard in March, or they're heard in August, or they're heard contemporaneously during his trial, which again would not be the most ideal way to do things. If that's what ends up happening, that's what ends up happening. But the one thing I can tell you is not going to happen is someone that has been in custody for 2,160 days, his trial is not going to be delayed under any circumstance. So that being said, what else would you like me to do this morning?
The trial was postponed despite the judge's earlier declaration that he would never permit it, something that many consider dubious. Melly's legal team benefits from this abrupt turnaround because it can bolster their case for a bond release. It's critical to analyze the reasons behind the delay in order to determine when that might occur. In an effort to secure a conviction in the retrial, prosecutors are attempting to introduce new evidence. A crucial component is a Facebook post that purports to link YNW Melly to the Red Street Squad, the same group they believe Young Thug is affiliated with, and features Melly alongside Young.
The use of the slap term, 5-point star, snake. He's saying he's YSL, he's hanging with him. And he puts up his YNW for life hashtag on it with Mr. Demons has big hand signs displayed.
Right, and these individuals again, I'm assuming that's also the Young Thug. That's also unknown.
Yes.
Also important to your investigation, correct?
Yes.
Also publicly available for anyone to see and capture.
YNW Melly actively argued, with his defense team in court even taking matters into his own hands. Melly defied his attorney's instructions in public for the first time during today's session, according to reports. He made it apparent that he wasn't worried about the prosecution's new evidence by raising his voice and instructing his lawyers to just let them use the evidence, according to it.
Yes, sir.
Against our advice, our client wants to proceed.
You objected to their request. We need to determine this automatic stay.
Based upon what our client has instructed us, yes.
Melly's yell was heard by everyone in the courtroom. He stated, "I don't care," in his own words. "I don't belong to any gang. They cannot demonstrate."
924-071. Call for an automatic stay while
they were aggravators. They go to membership in a gang. There are things that the jury would have to find before going into penalty.
Not aggravator, that's the death penalty. Aggravator, that's the enhancement itself, Your Honor. That was charged. He was charged in committing the murder for the further conviction, which is an aggravator in terms of the guilt.
something that they would have to find by way of an interrogatory.
Yes.
The other evidence presents a far greater issue, even if Melly doesn't appear to be worried about the Facebook post being used against him. Now, the prosecution wants to present evidence from a former member of O Block who allegedly assisted law enforcement and implicated YNW Melly prior to Melly's arrest and King Von's passing. This person claims that Melly and King Von were good friends at the time. Witness, however, asserts that Von told O Block residents about a troubling conversation in which Melly apparently sought his guidance on how to deal with people and get rid of.
Did Von really tell you that Melly told him that he was two friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument. And so, you know, if you know, when people could say something without saying it. And so he told me, like, once I posted what I posted, Von was mad at me. Bro, why you put up there, bro? Walter Bam. I'm like, You sitting up here like you know the love we got. You do this for us, but you gonna trust that his two friends? And he said, them was trying to extort him. And so I'm like, if they was trying to extort him, then why are you still around?
Prosecutors now have 2 years to make sure Melly can be used against this new evidence. And if they are successful, his prospects of getting a trial might completely fall apart. Melly's situation is made even more dire by the fact that he is not only battling this retrial, but also another case that might result in life in prison. His then-girlfriend, Mariah Hamilton, left the country and never testified, which was the primary reason he was not found guilty in his first trial. She just tried to re-enter the country and was arrested. So that benefit is no longer available.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
She was only detained for a few days before making an agreement with the judge that she could be released if she testified against Melly. This was one of the strongest blows to Melly's defense so far, since she accepted without question. Mariah even wrote, "Into my village," on Facebook. "I am grateful to my village. You all have my undying love. Not my plan, but God's." In addition to her testimony, the prosecution is interested in her iCloud account, which they claim has information that links Melly to pressing her not to testify. This is considered witness tampering, and prosecutors claim Melly frequently told her to leave the country over jail calls. A conviction on this crime alone may land him in prison for the rest of his life, even if he is found not guilty in the initial double murder.
Filing 6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
Allegations pertaining to the deaths of Sack Chaser and Juvie are completely unrelated to the witness tampering case. Accordingly, there is a very real chance that Melly may be found not guilty in the double murder case, yet still receive a life sentence if found guilty of witness tampering. The main issue facing his defense is that the alleged tampering took place via recorded jail phone calls, which the prosecution currently has. For over 3 years, Melly has been prohibited from using a phone. In an interview, Melly's mother, Jamie King, publicly accused the county jail of preventing him from making calls or even reading his own mail.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to just to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
This implies that the claims that Melly tampered with witnesses by utilizing a jail phone are probably true. Without supporting documentation, jail officials wouldn't enforce such a severe, protracted phone ban because doing so could result in a significant lawsuit against the institution. As a result, Jamie King has expressed her profound sadness over her son's circumstances, stating that she feels helpless to watch him go through these hardships. She finds it even more difficult to accept the situation because she believes that he is not even being treated humanely.
When you saw Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life, as a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
This received a lot of media attention, particularly in the rap scene. In his opinion, Charleston White stated that YNW Melly should be living his life as it is now while he awaits trial. He believes that Melly should be subject to the same rules as other prisoners and shouldn't be granted any preferential treatment. Just because he is a well-known
the YNW Melly. I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated. Yeah, I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated, homie. Homie, when you take a life, homie, you ain't got a right to complain about a motherfucking thing about being mistreated when you done chose to play somebody.
Boosie also took notice of this and talked about the emotional toll Jamie King has been under. He acknowledged how hard it must be for Melly's mother to watch her son go through this while feeling helpless to assist, and he offered his compassion. Boosie emphasized that a mother's anguish at witnessing her kid in such circumstances should not be disregarded, regardless of the allegation.
Okay, so
then I met his mama while he was in.
Oh, okay.
I met his mom while he was in, and she real, bro. You know, she real.
She's stressed out. I heard she had a.
Yeah, she real, and I reached my hand out to him, cause I'm real. Yeah, I reached out to him, bro. I met his mom, and she a good woman, bro. And when I see them mamas like that, it remind me of what my mom was going through, bro.
The problem only becomes worse now that Mariah is turning against YNW Melly. Prosecutors also had YNW Bortland working with them, which caused another delay in the trial. The judge's announcement that Melly and Bortland will be tried together in the next retrial, when it occurs, marked the beginning of this.
Mr. Henry is going to remain set for trial September the 10th at 9 o'clock with Mr. Demons, pending whatever future motion that I may hear. I'm in another capital case right now. I have 4 hearing dates left available between now and September the 10th. I gave the parties those 4 dates, and I'm holding all of those dates and times open only for these 2 defendants. So anything that you need me for, okay? Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Haddad, for the time being, Mr. Henry is still set for trial in September with YNW Melly, stated Bortland's lawyer at the beginning of Wednesday's session before Judge Martin Fine. But now, this will be rescheduled for whenever the next trial occurs. For Melly, this change could not be more detrimental. Following allegations that a no communication order has been filed in the case, his relationship with Bortland has entirely fallen apart. Melly and Bortland are kept totally apart by this order. They are not allowed to speak or communicate with one another or send communications via attorneys. By trying them together, prosecutors seem to be pressuring Bortland into testing
issue here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. It's just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking a penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. You're seeking the penalty on one, not the other. But that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found guilty.
Bortland is unlikely to be able to simply sit there and accept a life sentence without retaliating if he knows he did not commit this heinous crime. This increases the likelihood that he will blame Melly, just as Melly did to him in the initial trial. The two haven't communicated since that day, when Melly's attorney tried to place the blame on Bortland on the first day of the trial. Their feud started.
For his lives. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with 2 bodies, car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he has discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket, not Cortland Henry.
Melly's own attorney contended that Bortland was the one who had gunpowder, residue on his hands, and that he was the one who had lied to federal officials. Additionally, he noted that Bortland was the final person to be spotted with Sack, Chaser, and Juvie before they passed away. The defense even brought in a forensic expert who worked on the case to provide a detailed explanation of how the gunpowder residue connected.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of heart residue and two component particles. And the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of heart residue and 1 2-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was heart residue present on the hands.
Bortland did not take this well, which is why a story that YNW Bortland tweeted a mysterious message on the day Melly's mistrial was announced came to light. "Mind games don't work on people like me," he wrote in the tweet, and then he included a handshake emoji, seemingly to indicate that he had come to some type of consensus. The fact that Bortland had every motivation to testify against Melly, in light of what investigators allegedly discovered inside his homemade,
Melly's co-defendant YNW Bortland was booked into a Miami jail Monday night and is being held behind bars on an out-of-county warrant. We just confirmed the warrant is out of Broward County for witness tampering. The warrant obtained by Law and Crime Network states as follows. On or about April 10, 2023, continuing through and including July 22, 2023, Cortland Henry, aka Bortland, along with others, did unlawfully and knowingly engage in misleading conduct toward another person with the intent to cause or induce them to withhold testimony. The warrant continues the alleged witness had been summoned by the legal process to the jury trial of Jamel Dimmons, aka YNW Melly. The dates in the warrant are important. Jury selection for Melly started in mid-April, and a judge declared a mistrial on July 22nd, the same day the warrant claims Bortland allegedly tampered with the witness.
Images of purported notes discovered during a raid at YNW Bortland's residence last week have surfaced, as reported by Bryson Paul. These documents were subsequently entered into the Broward County Clerk's files. Bortland reportedly went home and penned in-depth descriptions of the jury's appearances while he was sitting in the stands on the first day of the trial and had a clear view of them. This occurred just before Melly's attorneys started to show evidence that implicated Bortland. Many people thought that because of the date, he was planning to exact revenge on the jurors should they find—
To keep it real, this is sloppy. Bortland, how the f you gonna have the notebook of the jurors in your house? Holy sh! Like, come the f on. It's like doing a and having the surveillance tape in your DVD player or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Like they raid your crib and the surveillance footage of the is in your DVD player. They be like, oh, okay, thank you, brother. This can't be at your crib.
Another important point that might be answered if Bortland cooperates with authorities is what, precisely, transpired in the hours immediately following the crime. 3 hours later, Melly was seen dancing with YNW Bortland in a parking lot while pretending nothing had happened. Serious questions have been raised by this video, which may be crucial in assembling the chronology and mentality of individuals involved. Interviewed
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! No, still turned, regardless of what happened. You already know.
Additionally, it may help to explain why YNW Melly left the recording studio early and proceeded directly to the left back seat of the Jeep they were driving, where she waited for the other 3 to board. With Bortland perhaps coming forward, prosecutors may finally be able to determine if this odd maneuver was a coincidence or a part of a bigger
Excuse me, you're able to see? Yes, all right.
(1726), the court document that states, "The direction of bullets traveling left to right in the car supports the claim that they originated from the back left seat where Melly was positioned. Seems to be supported by this particular information. Considering that Juvie's mother has already verified that he was in that same location, this would make YNW Melly appear incredibly guilty."
Can you state your name, your full legal name for the jury?
Leon Phillips.
Okay. And are you related to one of the victims in this case?
Yes, I am.
How so?
I'm his mother.
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Ms. Phillips, did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Janelle.
I would like to know if you believe Melly is guilty of the crime. Please share your theories about what you think actually occurred in the comments section. If you're a fan of YNW Melly, don't forget to